Experiencing the World of Tomorrow at the 1904 World's Fair. There was no better place to be than St. Louis, Missouri, U.S. in 1904. The St. Louis World's Fair ran from April 30th to December 1st and attracted roughly 19.7 million visitors. People flocked to see exhibitions on everything, from local foods to new technology. World's Fairs, which still happen today and are called World Expos, show off countries' achievements. St. Louis was chosen to host the 1904 edition to commemorate the 100-year anniversary of the Louisiana Purchase. This was when the U.S. bought a huge amount of land from France. St. Louis is in the middle of this area. Over 60 countries, along with almost all the U.S. states at the time, had exhibition spaces. Over 1,500 new buildings were built for the World's Fair, some of which were massive palaces. One, the Palace of Machinery, contained hundreds of new machines. Others featured plants, ocean animals, and even working farms. The St. Louis World's Fair also introduced new foods to the world and influenced everything from medicine to popular music. It truly showed the remarkable things that humans could achieve.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to English for You. I'm Pat.
I'm Jiggling.
And today we're going to take you back in time to 1904 and to a place where many people went to see what the new century was going to look like. Let's learn more about the 1904 World's Fair. The article begins by saying there was no better place to be than St. Louis, Missouri, US in 1904. So it's quite a long name of the place. St. Louis is the city, Missouri is the state, and it's in the south of the US, but not too far south. It's not deep south. So it's one of the states. The article continues, the St. Louis World's Fair ran from April 30th to December 1st and attracted roughly 19.7 million visitors. Which maybe doesn't seem quite so many now, but remember there were a lot less people around over 100 years ago. And they were attracted to the World's Fair. Here, the verb attract means to draw or bring people to a place because that place has interesting qualities. It has cool stuff. It's got things that people want to see. So people will go there. They'll go, ooh, that's cool. Let's go over there and find out what's going on and take part. Here's another example sentence. The restaurant's cheap lunch deals attract a lot of customers.
所以 attract 就是吸引的意思。那被什么东西吸引，英文就是 be attracted to someone or something. 比如说 insects are attracted to flowers by their color, scent, and nectar. 所以磁铁的吸引其实也是这一个字哦。那么在1904年啊，就是没有比圣路易斯，也就是在美国密苏里州更好的地方了。因为呢，圣路易斯世界的博览会在4月30号到12月1号举行，它吸引了差不多有1970万的游客。
So we said 19.7 million visitors. It wasn't exactly that number. It was roughly that number. Roughly means around, about. We're giving a kind of a guess at that figure. It was 19.67 to, maybe it was closer to 20 million. Who knows? We don't really have the exact number, so they're going for something close enough. Here's another example. There are roughly 1,300 students at this school.
所以 roughly 就是大约，那不是一个确切的数字。我们英文常讲 roughly speaking， 代表就是大致上来说。那它的形容词是 rough， 那意思很多。比如说崎岖的山路，你就可以说 a rough mountain road。那么表面粗糙的啊，或者是其实一个抓一个大概粗略的，不是一个很确切的也可以。所以我们再看一个句子，这边代表粗糙的意思。The skin on her hands was hard and rough.
The article continues to say why people wanted to come here and says, people flocked to see exhibitions on everything from local foods to new technology. That's the idea of what a World's Fair is. It's showing off kind of the best a lot of countries have and new things that are coming. So, of course, people would flock there. Here, the use of flock means to come somewhere, kind of like in large numbers. Imagine how if you throw a bunch of breadcrumbs on the floor, a whole bunch of pigeons or sparrows and other birds might land right there all at the same time to eat that food. It's the same idea. People will flock there like a bunch of birds coming to land in a place. Here's another way we can use it. Marvel fans flocked to the theaters to see the new Marvel movie.
所以这边的 flock 是当动词哦，聚集的意思。我们中文不是说蜂拥而至吗？其实这边就是 flock to do something， 就是蜂拥而至的去做什么事情。当名词也可以啊，像是一群观光客、一群羊。一群观光客你可以说 a flock of tourists， 或一群羊 a flock of sheep。So, 有一个片语叫做 birds of a feather flock together， 就是同样的羽毛的一些鸟就会聚在一起嘛，就是志趣相同的意思。所以呢，人们就会蜂拥而至来这边观赏各种的展览啊，展览包括当地的食品啊，到新科技什么都有包含。
So that's introduced the general idea of what's going on. We're now going to look at what a World's Fair actually is in detail and kind of explain what was going on. The article says World's Fairs, which still happen today and are called World Expos, show off countries' achievements.
所以 expo 这边是展览会，其实它是缩写哦，它原来的字是 exposition.
And the phrasal verb show off means to show the good qualities of something to a larger audience. Now, it can mean in a good way, like if you go to, say, one of those 3C stores, they will show off all their goods. They will put them there where people can see them, test them, check them out, and go, hey, this is not bad. Maybe I'll buy that. But of course, show off can be bad as well, like somebody going, hey, check me out. I'm so cool. Look at me, everyone, which is a little bit more negative.
所以 show off 老师有提到嘛，当呈现展示的意思其实是可以是正面的。可是当然它也可以指负面的意思哦，比较负面就有点像在炫耀的感觉，比如说 Jess likes to show off how well she speaks German。 所以现在呢，人在举行的世界博览会啊，我们其实都称为世博会，那它就是用来展示各个国家的成就。
Yeah, they want people to come and see, wow, this country or this part of the country is doing this cool thing. Look at what we've invented. Look at what we're going to be starting to do soon. Check out our great food. That's the idea. So, St. Louis was chosen to host the 1904 edition to commemorate the 100-year anniversary of the Louisiana Purchase. We'll explain what that is in a moment, but first let's look at the word commemorate.
所以 commemorate 就是纪念嘛，那 anniversary 就是周年纪念。Anniversary 就是周年纪念，所以像结婚纪念日英文就是 wedding anniversary. Do you remember your anniversary?
It's on October 22nd. I know what day it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
We had our 10th one last year.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But we didn't do anything special because we were all too busy. I mean, your birthday is an anniversary, really.
That's true. 对，
we never call it that, but it is. So this was celebrating the fact that it had been 100 years since the Louisiana Purchase. And the article talks about what that was. It says this was when the US bought a huge amount of land from France. France owned that bit of the US at the time, but the US government bought it. Now that sentence contains today's language in focus, so let's learn more about it.
所以呢，我们今天的 language and focus 提到的呢，就是 that, this 后面加上一个 be 动词 why, how, where, when 然后怎么样，其实就是我们刚刚看到那个句子啊 this was when 的这个句型，那它是用来强调前面讲述的内容哦，代表它讲到的东西是做某事的原因、方法、地点或者是时间。比如说我讲 Victoria Street, that's where my sister lives. 哦，你是在讲那条街哦，那是我姐姐住在那边诶。或者是说呢 when you can't remember why you're hurt, that's when you're healed. 当你呢已经没有办法记得你是怎么受伤的，那就代表你已经痊愈了。
So let's get back to the article. So the Louisiana Purchase, the US buys this large amount of land, and we learn St. Louis is in the middle of this area, which is why they picked it as the site for the fair. We next see over 60 countries, along with almost all the US states at the time, had exhibition spaces. We use the phrase along with just to mean the same thing as well as, together with, just and really, 60 countries and almost all the states at the time.
所以在我们文章中这个 along with 就是连同什么一起，所以 over 60 countries along with almost all the US states 这边指的就是连同一起超过60个国家，连同美国大部分的州。
And we use at that time for the US states because there weren't always 50. There are now, but the number kind of grew slowly over time as more bits were added. So I can't remember how many there were in 1904. Not the whole 50. They definitely didn't have Hawaii at that point, I don't think. But so it was probably 40-something.
Less.
Not the full 50. But at that time, we use this phrase to talk about a particular period, and using it signals that things have changed since then.
所以 at that time or at the time 就是当时哦，代表不是现在，也不是未来，就是那个时候。
So let's get back to the World's Fair, and we see over 1,500 or over 1,500 new buildings were built for the World's Fair, some of which were massive palaces, which is pretty cool.
好酷哦，所以 massive 这边是巨大的诶，所以 massive palaces we'll talk about palace in a while in a short while. 那我们先讲 massive 它是巨大的，所以如果是 like a really big house, a huge house 比它更大，你要强调非常大，就是 massive house 大房子。
And these were massive palaces. We often think of a palace as being, that's where the king or queen lived, Buckingham Palace and the various other palaces in the UK. Or elsewhere in Europe. But we can also use the word palace to mean a really fancily, highly decorated place that's actually used by the public. They might go there for amusement, maybe there's like games inside or activities, or it's a food palace. It's like everybody goes in there and there's loads of different places to eat and sit down. But the important thing is it's a bit like a royal palace. Very fancy, loads of decorations, high quality, that kind of thing. You might say, for example, the phone company set up a huge palace in which people could try out its latest products.
所以 palace 就是馆，尤其像是博物馆啊、演出场所。所以总统的官邸，我们常常就会说是 presidential palace， 或者是皇室、王室。老师刚刚有提到，我们就说 the palace， 那这个 P 通常会大写。所以有1500多座的新建筑啊，都是为了世界博览会建造的，而且有一些是很巨大的场馆。
The article talks and gives one example of these. One, the Palace of Machinery contained hundreds of new machines.
OK， 所以这个 machinery 就是机器嘛，所以有些建筑物里面呢，其中一座叫做机械宫殿，里面有好多新的机器，数百台。
Yeah, you can kind of guess the meaning from the hundreds of machines in there.
很多。
Yeah, so that was one palace. There were more. The article says others featured plants, ocean animals, and even working farms.
Oh, I'm so interested in the ocean animals one.
Yeah, they would have picked up, I don't know, probably like dolphins and stuff and brought them there in great big tanks so people could see them. Because St. Louis is right in the middle of the country. It's a long way from the ocean, so it would have been pretty cool.
感觉超酷耶，所以你知道他们除了这些机械宫殿啊，其他还有什么植物、海洋动物啊，还有 working farms， 甚至农场为特色。有没有看到这个 feature 啊？这边就是以什么为特色的意思。
Working farms mean it wasn't just like a model of a farm. Like people could actually the cows were being milked. Stuff was being grown over the course of the year. Fruits were developing because this thing went on for like 6 months, 8 months or something. We also see in the article that the St. Louis World's Fair also introduced new foods to the world and influenced everything from medicine to popular music.
所以除此之外啊，我们知道圣路易斯世界博览会也向世界介绍了这个 new foods， 就是新食品，然后也影响了从医学到流行音乐的各个层面。
Yeah, because people would have gone there and gone, oh, this is pretty cool. I'm going to go back to my hometown and I'm going to start up this new business or try this kind of medicine or do this new thing of farming. I'm going to buy some of these cars that I've seen from other states and introduce them around my home. So that's how it influences and spreads all this stuff out. The article then says, it truly showed the remarkable things that humans could achieve. The word remarkable means something really special. It's worthy of somebody making a remark. You wouldn't just sort of pass it by and go, You'd pass it by and go, oh, that's special. Hey, check this out. Here's an example sentence. It's remarkable that your grades have improved so much in such a short time.
Because Pat is my teacher.
There we go. That's how you get good grades. Listen to me.
Yeah, 所以 remarkable 就是非凡的、引人注目的。那它是形容词嘛？副词的话就是 remarkably， 所以代表很非凡地。比如说 the bat's hearing is remarkably sensitive， 代表蝙蝠的那个听力是很敏感的。或者是说 he made a remarkably swift recovery， 他很快就恢复了。So we also saw a word achieve.
That's right. We did see the word achievement a little earlier. Achieve is the verb form. To achieve something is to do something or complete a certain task or challenge. But it's usually something difficult. It was challenging in some way. It was worthy of note. It was kind of important. We wouldn't say like, I achieved putting on my shoes, for example, unless you'd had some kind of injury that made that really difficult for you, or, you're 3 years old or something like that. If you achieve something, it's kind of big. Here's an example. Kevin made a list of all the things he hoped to achieve by the age of 30, including getting married and traveling to at least 30 countries.
OK， 所以 achieve 就是实现的意思哦。那它是动词哦，名词就是 achievement。achievement 我们在中文有点像成就的感觉。所以比如说去达成某一个人的梦想啊，或雄心壮志，就是 achieve one's ambition。所以我们讲到的成就感就是 a sense of achievement。比如说 even a small success gives him a sense of achievement， 就算是小小的成功，他也觉得好有成就感哦。所以我们就知道说，这些博览会其实可以真实的展示人类可以实现的非凡成就。We can do anything we want.
Yeah, that's the idea with these fairs. They show off, look what we can all do. So that brings us to today's chat question, which is...
What kind of fair or exposition would you like to attend? Why?
That's a good question. I've been to a couple of technological ones.
That's so you.
No, it isn't. They're not.
Really?
I was working. They weren't that interesting. The one I have been to a couple of times is the Taiwan, I don't know if it's called the Book Expo or the Book Fair. Usually happens sort of around the winter time.
图书会.
Yeah, over by 101, just up the road from 101. And they're really fun to go to. I've been there selling a group, my writing group we had a booth for a couple of years and we sold our books. But when we weren't being there selling our stuff, we would be walking around and going, look at these books, check out what's going on here. I mean, they have not that many English book stands, but they have enough. Then they have, our company was there. I went and go and saw what we were doing. Go and see AMC's books.
Oh, that's why, because I think I've got, messages from my fans saying that they saw me.
Right.
At the fair, because they saw my videos playing.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you can go and some of the famous authors go there. People give talks. There's other activities. So I like that one. What about you?
Of course, definitely pet fairs.
Okay.
I've been to a few, and they always have specials, so you can get a lot of things at a really good price.
Yeah, that's why we went to the Mom and Baby Fair. You get loads of cheap stuff.
Cute.
Oh, I went to a food one. It was over in the Nangang exhibition, that was great because you could lots of free samples. You could buy stuff that you can't normally buy, cooking stuff. Yeah, that was a good one to go to.
Exotic foods?
Sometimes, but otherwise it's just this is cool and it's a lot cheaper than normal. So, yeah, and you get to eat stuff.
I want to go to that one.
Yeah, that's a cool one. But that brings us to the end of today's article. Join us again tomorrow to learn more about what people could see at the 1904 World's Fair. See you then. Bye for now.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review. Attract. Although this phone doesn't offer any special features, many people are attracted to its great appearance. Roughly. I think roughly 20 people are coming on the class trip, but I'll check the exact number later. Flock. Millions of people flock to visit the Eiffel Tower in Paris each year to enjoy its beauty. Palace. The family enjoyed watching an exciting film at the big, colorful movie palace downtown. Remarkable. The new museum in town has a remarkable collection of paintings that is very interesting to see. Achieve. Christopher achieved his goal of cycling around Taiwan because he planned his trip well.
智慧小补帖
Expo. Commemorate. Anniversary. Massive. Machinery.